Today I'm going to share with you 4 conversations that realtors hate having to have. The first is talking about when a home inspection is bad. So buyers are so excited when they get that house under contract, especially if they've been looking for a long time and they finally found the one. And then you schedule the home inspection report comes back and it's 75 pages long with just item after item after item. And that's a conversation we never like to have, especially if that buyer is doing some kind of a government loan where we just know from looking over that report that there's going to be issues and they're probably not going to be able to get their loan based on things that were found in the home inspection. And even if it's the seller and the buyer's agent has called us and then we have to call our seller and say, hey, I hate to have to tell you this, but the home inspection did not go as we had hoped. So that's the first conversation that we don't like to have. The second is having to call a buyer and tell them we didn't win the offer. Again, if your buyer has been looking for a while and they are heartbroken, nobody wants to have to call a buyer and say, hey, we didn't get the house. Especially if that buyer has went above and beyond, put together a great offer, and then still didn't get the house. I know the last multiple offer situation I had was on a $100,000 house over in Newport, and we received 8 offers because you just can't find a move-in ready home at $100,000 anymore. Now, granted, it was 2 bedroom, 1 bath, wasn't a huge house by any means, but it had been remodeled and it's ready to go, ready for a new buyer to move in and make it their own. So we received, like I said, 8 offers on that, and some of them were $20,000, $25,000 above list price. And I know it was very disheartening for those buyers, and I hated it for their agents to have to make that call and say, you didn't win the offer. The third conversation is to have to call our seller and say, the buyer's backing out. That is a phone call that no agent ever wants to make. And depending on the situation, depending on why the buyer is backing out, obviously home inspection plays a part in that. So if the buyer just says, based on what we found in the home inspection, we want to terminate your contract. If a life instance has happened, maybe they went under contract and have gotten 2 or 3 weeks into it and the husband finds out he's getting a job change, or the wife gets laid off, or they're going to relocate somewhere else. No matter what the reason is, it's never a great time to call your seller and have to say, hey, our buyers are backing out of this deal. We're not going to be able to close. And the last one is to have the conversation of the closing is delayed. As a buyer, everyone's excited. They can't wait until moving day. A lot of times you have to schedule that time off from work well in advance so that you can go to the closing, sign your paperwork, and then start the moving process. And same thing for the sellers, especially if they are in the process of buying another house and they're trying to do a back-to-back closing. The closing of the sale of their home gets delayed. It's going to delay them being able to purchase the new home. So again, that's the conversation that agents hate to have with a client, be it buyer or seller, is to tell them that the closing has been delayed. A lot of times it's just a logistical thing that plans have been made around this particular date. And sometimes it's really, really hard to reschedule, and you're shifting everybody else's schedules with that. So those are conversations that agents don't like to have. But as a realtor, we have to keep you informed every step of the way, whether it's good news, whether it's bad news, or whether it's just to tell you, hey, we don't have any news for you right now. We have to stay in touch with you throughout this process on both the buy side and the sell side. So if you're looking for a realtor who knows how to have those kinds of conversations with you and who is experienced in the field, give me a call. I would love to work with you. 423-748-8811. My name's Amy Schrader, and I'm with RE/MAX Real Estate 10.